CNF Worldwide for nomads everywhere.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Rick Carter from CNF Worldwide. We're here in Columbus, Ohio with Nate Klein, Seth Draeger, founders and owners of this lovely establishment right here that we're calling Parsons North Brewing Company. Greetings, gentlemen.
How are you?
So, we'll talk a little bit about how you guys got started here and what your backgrounds are and what the future plans are for Parsons North. So I'm gonna start with you Seth.
Okay.
What brought you to the brewing industry?
Well, it was a homebrew kit for my birthday a while back, and I kind of fell in love with it right away, and I've been brewing every week since I got it, pretty much.
How long ago was that?
I was about 4.5 years.
Okay.
So my first homebrew competition that I entered, I won Best in Show, and that was a beer that I had brewed after about 3 months of brewing. Started to realize there was, something magical going on with it, and entered, more competitions, won more awards, and my friends started asking me, when are you going to open a brewery, They loved my beer, they wanted to support me, and so I was looking at opening a very, very small operation on the south side in the Parsons Avenue area here. I have kind of a family connection to the area, and I lived down here for a while. When Nate approached me about this space here and something much larger than what I was originally planning, and after seeing the people that I was working with and the space and the area I was going into, it just, the timing and everything was perfect. So I just decided to kind of go in head first.
Well, what kind of work were you doing when you got the homebrew kit and you just started brewing beer?
I was in sales for 15 years and studying towards the actuarial science degree at OSU at the time.
So prior to getting the homebrew kit, you hadn't been in like hospitality or restaurants or anything like that?
A little bit in high school, but that's about it.
So as far as your educational background, anything with science or anything like that?
I've always had a deep interest in science and the arts, and that's one of the reasons why I love brewing, is because it really joins a lot of science and the art together into a product that I can share with a lot of people. So cool. That worked out real well for me.
So what about you, Nate? How'd you come to this project?
The landlords of the buildings here, close friends of mine, and when they first started the project, they were looking for a brewery to occupy this space here. And I've known Seth since freshman year of high school, and we have mutual friends as well who I kind of had heard through the grapevine that he was home brewing, and they really thought he was doing a great job. So I set up a meeting between Seth and my friend who works for the East Public Development here, and sat in the meeting, listened to him, and then I had a little bit of extra cash laying around. Thought maybe I've always wanted to invest in a business, something small, kind of grow it from the ground up. And then after trying his beer, I decided I was going to invest quite a bit more money, and then was like, also, guess what? You have a business partner now too. I have 16 years of retail management experience.
Okay.
I bartended for 4 years during that as well. I've always loved hanging out at the bar, drinking good beers and stuff. And, I've tried probably half of his beers now, his recipes, and they're all pretty awesome beers. And, it was like, here's all my money. Let's do this.
Okay, so we got the brewer. We've got the location. We got the guy with some money who wants to invest.
Yeah, and then I'm running the tap room side of things.
So you're front of house guy.
Front of house,
too?
yeah.
So a lot of times, at this point in time, we'll ask people the question, how'd you put together the business plan? How financing? How'd you go search for the location? But the location was already in hand.
Yeah.
So how did you pull the rest of the business plan together?
I had actually looked into starting a food truck before I was doing this. So I had already kind of gone through the whole business plan thing. Back in high school, I did a entrepreneurship class where you made a business plan. So we, kind of went through that using a basic template. Spent probably a good 6 months on that business plan, as well as like a presentation, for the banks and stuff. My brother-in-law, he does a lot of finance stuff, so he helped us kind of like work the numbers. We've had a lot of help from a bunch of different people. Two of our landlords actually have their office next door here. They're in branding and design. They helped us put together the packet.
Very cool.
Both of our parents are investors as well too. And then my brother-in-law invested a little bit of money because he's still helping us with the finances. So trying to keep it as tight knit as possible, and so we can keep control of it and kind of do what we want to do, which is just have this nice inviting atmosphere and inviting space for everybody.
It's interesting because I know Jason's probably picking up on a theme here too. It's like last 3 days, all 3 days the interviews have started out with, well, we just want to start with a food truck.
Yeah.
Free for three. But then as soon as we started talking about the business plan, everybody said our family, our friends, our neighbors, everybody, people invested in helping, and we got a lot of help from people.
Sure.
It seems like there's a lot of enthusiasm around people starting breweries.
For sure.
There certainly is.
Very into
and
it.
I think that obviously having people try your beer helps with that enthusiasm as well. I had
certainly helped with my enthusiasm.
I used to have a party every spring and every fall. I was brewing 5 gallons every week, and I certainly can't drink 5 gallons everywhere. I shouldn't drink 5 gallons every week. So I would have big parties and have 30 or 40 people come to my house and have a big backyard and everything. And
been to a couple of those
so
myself.
That created a lot of buzz and enthusiasm right there, and that was definitely very, very helpful to, I think, probably for both of us to, get us to that finish line, encourage us, and know that we've really got something special going on.
Yeah.
So as we're traveling about the country, we're trying to interview brewers, tap rooms, businesses at various stages of their development. And we have one brewer in the Florida Keys who they haven't even built the building yet. I mean, they're renovation. They don't even have the doors open yet. So we're doing a series with them. We've also interviewed with people who've been brewing for 20 years. And you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, you've only been open for about a month and a half here now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. How did you, and you mentioned you had some family ties with this area.
Yeah.
What led you guys, other than the availability of this space, to and because it sounds like you were interested in the Parsons Avenue area before you knew about this space, what led you to come to this neighborhood?
Well, I live just south of here. I spent a lot of time here in the evenings, riding my bike through, hanging out at different restaurants and bars and parks and things like that. My great-great-grandfather also, when he came from Ireland, he opened a chain factory just south of here. And he was a big part of making a better community to live. And so kind of continuing that legacy a little bit is something that I was interested in, and having a connection to the community. I really love the community along Parsons Avenue too. It's really got this like scrappy entrepreneurial spirit to it. A lot of hardworking people and very diverse. So it's just a great place to be a part of, a revitalization, making things exciting and better for everybody who lives here.
Yeah, you had mentioned a little bit before we started, recording here. You got the Children's Hospital right here up the street, and we took a little drive around the neighborhood before we got here today. And there looks some areas that could maybe use a coat of paint, but it also looks like there's a lot of development happening here. And this may be a neighborhood in the Renaissance. And I've noticed right here in your complex, this is nice. You've got a restaurant next door. You've got some offices next door to here. How do you see the future of this neighborhood going forward here? I mean,
you want me to take that one? Okay. So I think, especially with this area, what we want to do, and I think a lot of the people that are from the neighborhoods really want, is to keep this kind of similar look, but just kind of rehab the existing buildings that are around, because there is a lot of cool architecture and things like that. And I think, the city's investing a lot of money, Children's Hospital is investing a lot of money, and a lot of the neighborhood associations around here are like doing a lot as well to try to bring in more commercial businesses, kind of revitalize the strip here. The city just changed the whole Parsons Avenue corridor. They repaved everything, made it a little more pedestrian friendly. And I think they want people to come down here and see it as more of like a destination. So yeah, there's a whole lot going on down here. We would love to just keep the feel of the neighborhood and not, we don't want to see a bunch of 10-story condo buildings going up. We understand that there's probably going to be some of that, but the buildings that we occupy, the restaurant, the construction company next door, these are all the same shells of the previous buildings that were just rehabbed.
Very nice.
And I think that you're going to see a lot more of that down the Parsons Avenue corridor in general. So
feel good to kind of be in early on and helping to do that kind of
sure.
revitalization.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We want to be part of the community. We've reached out to a lot of the different charities around the neighborhood and the civic associations, and have had a lot of interaction with them, and they're excited, we're excited. So it's gonna be a long journey, but I think it's gonna be a great one.
So let's step back to the personal side of it. So you had a long career in sales.
Mm-hmm.
You had a career going on. The opportunity presented itself, but you still got to have kind of the faith to take the leap.
Sure.
So tell us what was it like? You're sitting here going, okay, well, you're married, and you like your wife and go, hey, I got a chance to open a brewery. How'd that progress from there?
I'm not a huge risk taker, but
minus this one.
honestly,
You can't say that anymore, can you?
Yeah, no.
at every step of the way, it never felt like this huge risk. Because, like you said, his brother-in-law has been a huge help in getting our numbers together and helping us to understand, what we have to do to be profitable and all that stuff. And the people that we're working with, again, and the space and the timing and everything just came together.
Yeah.
And obviously, I took some time to think about it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a very easy decision to make. I pulled out my 401k, and as did Nate,
yeah.
And we're both all in. But we really, I think, have so much faith in just the entire project and the direction things are going and each other, that it's never felt like this huge risk, like I'm going to lose everything or anything like that.
Our landlords one is owner of the construction management company who helped us build this. He's built almost 10 breweries around the Columbus area,
and very successful bars.
And then the other two landlords, they're ones that own the branding company. They did the interior design, all the branding for us, and have been there basically every step of the way to help us achieve it. Because they're right next door. They want this space to be an example of the work that they do.
Yeah.
So that's been great for us.
I just tell people, and I'm 35 years of entrepreneurism and IT and technology and stuff, and I always tell people, plan to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Act like you're going to win.
Yeah.
Because if you keep thinking about how it could fail, you're going to fail.
Yep.
Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, man.
And being an entrepreneur, there's so many of you out there, and there's a lot of people that are willing to give their help because it's a community.
It is a community, and we all want to see each other be successful.
For sure.
And I found that to be especially true in the craft brew industry.
Yeah.
Because other towns, other people we've interviewed, they've said, oh, we screwed up and we ran out of yeast on a brew day. We needed this stuff, and we called another brewer, and they sent some over.
Yeah.
And other industries, I'm telling you, that does not happen.
And we've had pretty much all the breweries around us have reached out and said, hey, if there's anything you need kegs, you need anything, we're here for you. Because we're all teaming up against the big guys.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because that's like the whole foundation for CNF. And I'm not going to sit here and name names and dog big companies.
Sure.
But we try. I'm interested in you guys' opinion on this, because my theory is life is local. And we are all on the social media, and we all are aware of what happens in the world in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But you live next door to your neighbor.
For sure.
You come to Parsons North, and you're seeing people from your community, and it feels to me as we travel around that there's kind of a movement back to people stepping away from the technology a little bit, maybe spend a little more time engaging with their neighbors.
Cheers atmosphere, kind of.
You guys seeing that here too?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
We've had a tremendous outpouring of support from both sides of the street. Even outside of the neighborhood, people were always coming by, leaving fingerprints on the front windows, peeking in, seeing the progress. Just excited to see that they're going to have a cool place to hang out, and something that they can call their own. And with a lot of the craft breweries, sometimes they don't distribute a whole lot, and it's becoming more of like the neighborhood brewery thing. So you see a lot of people coming in because of that, and they're excited, and we're excited.
So right now, I see you've got a lot of beers on tap from a lot of really good craft brewers in the neighborhood. How soon before we start seeing you guys and your beers being on the list here?
Next week or two, you should start seeing our beers.
So
on
we're
tap.
here a week too early. Well, how's the progress of your brew operation here?
Good. Like any system, you got to learn it and adjust your recipes and all that kind of stuff. But that's going very well, and we've got 4 beers in the fermenters right now, and I'm going to make 3 more here very soon.
So how have you found that transition from being a home brewer to coming in here, and now all of a sudden you've got the mad scientist lab at your disposal now?
Well,
we need to get you that lab coat.
It's been pretty good. There's obviously some things that you're going to learn. You're going to start using different devices. It was a little bit of a learning curve on using a refractometer instead of a hydrometer, and making sure that I got all that right. And at first I was like, why isn't my beer fermenting right? And then I was like, oh, I got to do a different calculation for this. But the process has been very similar. There's a few things I do at home I can't do here, and so just kind of adjust that and roll with the punches. And it won't be too long before my brew days all go pretty much as expected, I think.
So in the next 2 weeks, what are the first 4 beers we're going to see?
Well, one is going to be like a lighter Irish ale, and then there's an American stout. It's a good balanced chocolatey stout. I do a grapefruit wheat, which is not like a Radler, but like a lot of wheat beers have kind of a little bit of orange to them.
Yeah,
It has a little bit of grapefruit instead.
American wheat.
American wheat. Yep.
Zest and juice in it. Yep.
I've got an English ale, and then
We got
that's
coming
4.
up. Yeah.
That's 4.
And then we have some more coming up after that. Should be in the,
Yep.
Getting into the brew house here. In the next
I'll be brewing a
week or
Belgian
two.
double and a
pale
pale ale and
West Coast IPA.
Yep.
And then that mulberry saison.
Mulberry saison.
So
Yep,
that's a pretty broad line there. That's something for every palate in
Yeah,
that lineup.
I do like to brew a lot of different types of beer. That's one of the reasons why I have so many fermenters is I like to do ales, but also lagers and sours and things that take a little bit longer. Next fall, when the juice is fresh, we'll start doing ciders as well. So I really like to do a broad spectrum, and as long as people respond well to that, we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, and we also have wine and cocktails as well because we wanted to make sure that everybody that came in had something that they could have because not everybody likes beer. I think that all his recipes are very approachable, even for people that are not sure that they like craft beer. Some people that claim they hate these certain styles, and like I'm one of those people sometimes that certain styles are not for me, but when I have his style, I'm like, oh, I kind of start to see that those simple flavors that go into each of those beers. But we just wanted to make sure that everybody that came in had something that they could enjoy.
So you had mentioned a few minutes ago that a lot of breweries now are what they call destination breweries. So what's the long-term plan for you guys? Are you going to be the local destination brewery? Plans for distribution?
So right now, we don't have any plans for canning or bottling. I think in the colder months, with the patio not available, we'll probably do some keg distribution to some local restaurants and bars. We have a lot of connections in that industry as well too. And then during the summer months with the patio open, I think we're going to just try to sell as much as possible here. Because with our patio space, we'll essentially double what we have inside here, and I think people are really going to enjoy that. Be in the sunshine all the time. We'll have a lot of those outdoor games as well too. We want it to be kind of a place where the community can come and enjoy themselves. People bring their kids in here. We'll plan to host meetings for the civic association and things like that.
So I want to hop right on that comment about families and bringing the kids in here. And I know you've got the one side, as you pointed out when we got here, set up more like a pub, relaxing area. Over here, it's brighter. You got the game area, you got the pinball machines and that kind of stuff. But also, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned the motherland. You mentioned your grandfather, great grandfather coming from Ireland. I get over there every year now.
Okay.
And we had this conversation yesterday, and I'll be interested in you guys' opinion. It's different over there. The whole concept of a pub and a bar in the motherland is different. Sure. Because over here, I guess it's because of the whole puritanical thing. Alcohol, evil, bad. How could you dare take a child into a bar? But over there, I've been in pubs for breakfast on a Saturday or Sunday morning, and the entire family is sitting over here at a table. The kids are playing with their toys on the floor. Grandma and grandpa, everybody's there. And it's like in a village, it's like a community center. Almost. Yeah.
I really love that concept, and that's something that I think that we wanted to be welcoming for all people here, and that's part of it right there. I've always loved that idea of an Irish pub where everybody's hanging out. My first experience with that was Right Brain Brewing up in Traverse City, Michigan, and it's a big open warehouse, and they have almost like a corner for kids with games and all sorts of different things, and it just had this great community feel to it. It was more than just I want to get away from my family, so I'm going to come here. It's like we're all going to enjoy ourselves together and try some really cool beers.
Yeah, I think allowing children in during certain hours. Obviously, they probably shouldn't be here past 9 o'clock, but it demystifies the whole thing, and it's less of a like, I'm drinking to get drunk, and it's more of, I'm here to enjoy all these different styles of beer, and it lets, I think kids know from a young age that there is such thing as responsible drinking, and come here, have a couple beers, they walk over from the neighborhood with their kids play the games, coloring books, things like that. It really makes it, takes it away from that whole like, you go to a bar to get drunk, kind of thing.
So we had a conversation yesterday with another local craft brewer, and we talked about the whole concept of people going in there to get drunk and that kind of thing. But to me, like people who are like really into wines and people who are really into craft beer, there is more of a cultural, historical aspect to it, where those kind of people want to know, like, well, where did the grains come from? Why did you use those kind of grains? Why did you use those kind of hops? Seth, what's the history behind those kind of hops, and the whole cultural journey of us as human beings and what these liquids meant to us? Do you get that feel? Because I'm kind of feeling that's the way you're coming
absolutely.
at it too.
That's definitely a question that I'll often get is, are you going to be using local ingredients? This beer obviously is not mine, but this is all Ohio ingredients from North High.
And this one is called, let's give them a shout out here.
Yep.
North High Cover Crop.
Cover crop. Delicious.
I do definitely intend to use some local ingredients in certain beers. There's a great farm up near Marysville that does malt. They grow it, they malt it themselves and everything, and they're starting to grow hops as well. And I think that's probably just going to blossom and continue. So that's something that I'm very excited about doing.
The locally grown hop thing is starting to take off. Side note, one of the founders of Under Armour, who's stepped away from the company. He started like a 300-acre hop farm in Maryland. He's growing hops. They're opening a brewery there.
Wow.
We have a friend, the guy that I told you earlier, we're doing the Building the Brewery series down in the Keys. He's going to try to grow hops down there. He's like, because hops need sunlight. He's got more sunlight than us. So there's all that. I think you were going to say something, Nate?
Oh, I was just going to mention that. So when he does his batches, all his spent grains and stuff, he has partnered with some farmers in the area that will come down. They pick it up, and then the idea being that we're giving it to them for free. They feed their animals with it, and if they raise any vegetables, we just ask that they bring some down to donate to the Fresh Market for All People, which is just down the street here, which is provides fresh produce to the underserved kind of thing. So
very cool, very cool. So going forward, what's in the immediate future for you guys? And I'm going to cut here and take a second because I got another question I forgot to ask you. I'm going to come back and ask you now. Give him room to cut me. So in addition to all your delicious beers, and you've got lines of wines and other beverages for people to drink, we've got the games and everything over here. What kind of events you guys going to have, like music and special events and that kind of thing?
Well, so far with the interior, a lot of people like to come to the tap room to have a conversation.
Right.
And the noise up in here can get a little much sometimes, so right now we're holding off on any kind of live music inside. Once the weather is warmer, we're looking at possibly doing something outside, do some sort of music series. We've got the covered patio where they could set up, and then the big green space. We do trivia on Tuesday nights, the buzzer style trivia. So that's been a lot of fun so far. And we're still partnering with some other places right now to see what else we can do on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then as far as Friday and Saturdays go, we're pretty much jam-packed in here, so there's not really a whole lot of room for any kind of events. But when the outdoor space is open, we want to hold community events for fundraisers and things like that. There's a yoga studio back in the corner back here. Probably do some outdoor yoga events, try to partner that with the beer. Nothing better than after a strenuous yoga session than have
we're
have
seeing
nice
that in other
beer.
places. Beer yoga is taking off.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that. So and then obviously with the board games, I think we're going to probably try to push like a Sunday board game day, try to get a lot of families to come in, and then they can spend time playing board games together and have a couple pints while they're here.
So far, how's the journey been for you guys? Like you take the leap of faith, you invest all your money. More fun or more scary?
Say a combination of both.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think we've both been in the thick of it for so long, just really working all the time. There's not really that much time to sit around and think and being scared. But we definitely make sure we have fun.
Yeah.
So as we were talking earlier, also there's a pretty large craft brew scene here in Columbus, Ohio, and we've been to a few of them in the past few days. We've been here, a lot of good stuff. That didn't deter you guys thinking at all when you started this? You're like, yeah, our stuff's good enough. We got a good plan. We can do this.
That's how I felt about it after having his beer. And then with the cool space too, I think, you know.
I think that's part of it. I think another big thing for me is this area definitely, I think, needed a brewery. But I think breweries more and more are becoming like the local brewery.
Neighborhood bar kind of
like
thing.
I don't feel like we're in competition with a brewery in another part of town, even if it's like a few miles away.
I agree.
I don't feel like that's our competition.
Yeah.
Because that's the local brewery for that area. We're the local brewery for this area. And I think that's really where it's going, is being the local brewery.
Yeah, and a good chunk of our demographic are people that like to do the brewery tours, where they hop from brewery to brewery, or it's like, you know, let's go to Parsons North and we'll try all their beers. And then like next Sunday we'll go to another brewery. You know, it's a community, and we're really not competing with each other. And I think the better the craft beers are at all the different breweries, the better we're all going to do.
So, for people who watch this broadcast, listen to this podcast, where can they get more information about Parsons North Brewing?
Well, they can follow us on Instagram at Parsons_North, or follow us on Facebook, just Parsons North Beer, and then go to our website, parsonsnorth.com. Still working on getting some things uploaded on there, but our Facebook will have all of our food truck schedules as well, and then we'll announce when we have our beers on tap on there. So I think that covers all of that.
Okay, so for all you non-Ohioans, as you're jetting down I-70 through Columbus here, slow down, put your brakes on, hop off the interstate. I swear to God, this place is minutes away from I-70. Stop in and see Nate and Seth at Parsons North Brewing here on Parsons Avenue. Two great guys, really cool space, really good beers. Come in and see them. You'll be glad you did. Until next time, this is Rick Carter at CNF Worldwide.
CNF Worldwide, for nomads everywhere.
This broadcast was produced by CNF Limited for nomads everywhere. The contents of this broadcast are the property of CNF Limited. All rights are reserved. For more information about CNF publications, contact us at 305-707-4024. Find us on the web at cnfltd.com.